If you are listening to this, then I and everyone else have gone. But humanity has survived. And you, well done for finding this tape. For I hid it deep in the Andes mountain range. In a place so extreme, it would not be found for hundreds of years. This is a story of the most unprecedented events of the last millennia. So, child, sit back, take note, because this is how the year 2021 actually went down. The year 2021 started as it often does with the month of January. Nothing particularly interesting or of note happened in the first month of the year. Though on the 6th of January, a guy dressed in a bearskin and horns did lead a mob into Capitol Hill to overturn a Democratic presidential vote. I guess that was kind of a biggie. This is because the American people decided they didn't want the statistically least popular president in history to be president anymore. Instead, they wanted the oldest man that ever lived. Wanted is a strong word. They wanted anyone. Even this guy would have had a decent chance. Old Bernie Mittens looked on at the coronation. Zoom quizzes may have died out as COVID fatigue set in, but Zoom meetings were still very much a thing in almost all workplaces. This Texas lawyer had to remind the judge, jury, and prosecution.
I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that.
And who could forget the most audacious power grab of the last 300 years? Jackie Weaver took on all comers from the Hanforth Parish Council.
You have no authority here, Jackie Weaver. No authority at all.
She's just kicked him out.
No,
she's kicked him out.
People took to see, and at the same time TikTok. Because you see, there once was a ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was the Billy of Tea. Soon may the Wellerman come to block the Suez Canal and disrupt world trade. Harry and Meghan gave this bombshell of an interview. February passed and March came. Lockdowns around the world ended with barely a clap for the healthcare heroes. This was me in March 2020. This is me in March 2021. Nobody knew the rules of social interaction anymore. When I saw Andy Dufresne on that Zihuatanejo beach, I didn't know what to do. Handshake? Hug? I ended up grabbing his fist bump and licking his face. Of course, the end of lockdown was made possible by the success of the vaccine rollout. Line up in age order, oldest first. For a while, old people were the only ones allowed out, going to raves and orgies and bingo. Often at the same time. My God, I want to go to that party, that's for sure. In a year of power grabs, whether it be the U.S. President or the Hanforth Parish Council, the world of soccer completed the triple threat. Led by everyone's favorite charities, Real Madrid and Barcelona, 12 clubs attempted to form the European Super League. The rich were trying to go home and take their ball, but the people prevailed. In a David and Goliath story, the Davids over at Reddit took on the Leviathans of Wall Street by purchasing heavily shorted GameStop shares. And they were winning too, until Robin Hood stole from the poor and gave to the rich. Now, my child, 2021 really was a year of Davids and Goliaths. Young shepherd boy Floyd Money Mayweather, taking on the behemoth that was Logan Paul in the world's first hugging contest. The result was a tie, 8 hugs each. YouTuber boxing really entered the mainstream, with tuber Jake Paul beating every prize fighter in the shape of their lives, in their absolute prime. Everyone's rooting for you, Jake, 'cause you're such a nice guy. What YouTuber boxing matches will the future hold? Maybe Lily Singh versus Mike Tyson, or James Beast versus the Taxman. Speaking of rich people, Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos went to space, and no one gave a shit. Across the pond, they were singing It Was Coming Home until the final kick of the Euro soccer tournament. Some good-natured Italians showing the kind of sportsmanship they're famous for. Unfortunately, the prophecy had been misread. It was in fact coming Rome. And sadly, some England fans showed themselves up with disgraceful behavior. Airlines slowly opened, and the small folk were itching to venture beyond the borders of the kingdom. That miraculously sped up the vaccination process. Even anti-vax Karens got double jabbed so they could have a week in Corfu. As the winter months set in, FaceB, Insta, WhatsApp, and carrier pigeons all went down for an entire 6 hours. The world stopped spinning, so we now have a second leap year to make up for it. By the cold October months, the townsfolk retreated back indoors, and the world was gripped by the greatest games on Earth. Not the Olympics, but the Squid Games. Jihan and company took both our hearts and our Halloweens. People need to get some originality. My 2021, real mixed bag of a year. Tell me you had a good 2021 without telling me, because this video is going to live in your head rent-free for a year. If you're from the future, I'd like to know whether humanity ever sorted this crap out. Did the vaccine rollout work? How was Joe Biden's 300th birthday? Is Jackie Weaver the supreme leader of the galaxy? Please let me know in the comment section of this audio recording. I hope 2022 will be better. I hope people won't do so much dumb shit. I hope